Big V TV, great to have you with us for a Friday night, end of another just crackerjack, hard working week for me, and Stephen Craig are also with me. How are you guys?
Bit under the weather this week.
Here we go. Here we go. Dr. Sniffles has passed it on. Yep.
He has, but we're pushing through. The weekend's coming around very quickly, and I'm excited to see some more Big V action.
Round 14 coming up this weekend. We're going to look at all the big games in just a moment. To the persistent person out there who thinks we should look at all 160 games every week, we're not doing that tonight either. So just stick with us. I got a good story out of last week that I wanted to share with you. I won't tell you which team or teams or which division, but I'm reliably informed that a certain import last week on court was baiting an opponent and basically defending them, and said, you can't hit that shot, you can't hit that shot, go on, shoot the ball, if you hit the shot I'll give you $50. Well, the player hit the shot, and the import, to their credit, walked up to them in the aftermatch, out came a $50 note and handed it over. Said, I'm a person of my word, there's your $50.
Must have been an older import, because young people don't carry cash nowadays.
Fair enough. There's my credit card, go and tap it over there and off you go. True story though, true story.
I wish I had $50 to give away.
$50 lighter. What happened out on the court?
Justin, if we after this show, if we stroll out.
Didn't say him, by the way. I didn't say him. I was very careful not to do that, Steve.
After this show, if we stroll out to Court 1, State Basketball Centre.
I'd clean up.
If I offered $50, we could record you attempting a 3-point shot.
I would clean up. I'd be heading into the weekend, and I would have a big weekend with plenty of cash from your hip, mate. Youth League 2 women. There's the games coming up this weekend, and Finally, Steve-O has picked out a game that's worthy of us spending a couple of minutes on, because, Steve, this will be an absolute cracker. We're looking at Pakenham, second 10-3, taking on Casey, first 12-1. This will cause traffic jams down at Pakenham.
Well, I told you at the end of last night's show that I would be spending most of my Thursday night going over some games of the round.
Yes.
Thankfully, I've spent that time. You've given me the credit where credit's due.
It's probably a stretch, by the way. I don't think there'll be traffic jams down there. But anyway, it sounded good.
I think this one will be for top spot come the end of the season. I know Casey dropped their first game of the year last week.
Yep.
Pakenham won 3 of their last 4. This is an offensive explosion waiting to happen.
Well, what do you think? Did he say offensive explosion? Right. What do you think's going to happen?
There'll be points scored.
Right, well, give us how many points in total will be scored in this game.
125.
All right, who wins?
Casey.
Okay, who are you going for, Craig?
Not sure how we're yet to see how Casey reacts coming off a loss, but you can't fault most of their form. One loss. Pakenham haven't lost at home yet, though.
Yes.
I think it's going to be a close one, but Casey just.
I've got a lot of very good friends. I'm tight with Pakenham. You guys know that. I've got a lot of good mates down there. They do the best back in black ACDC on any game night I've seen anywhere in the Big V. There's no way knowing I am deserting my Warriors. I'm sticking with Pakenham.
Okay.
I know all the players in that team very, very well.
Can you name 10 for me right now?
Well, if we do a show tomorrow night, I'm happy to dedicate it to the Pakenham Warriors Youth League 2 women and talk about every player individually. Youth League 2 men. It is Friday today, isn't it?
It is.
We're not back tomorrow night.
You'll be on Saturday night special.
Youth League 2 men. There's the games coming up. Round 14 action, and I do like this one as well, Craig. Collingwood sitting in 4th, 12-5, take on Melton sitting in 1st, 15-4, and both of these teams have some players that are simply awesome to watch.
On the ladder it says Melton are 14-5.
Don't worry about the ladder, Steve-O. You stuffed that up, mate. You've got 15-4 there.
Let's rewind.
All right, sure, no worries. Just stick with it. It's 14-5. We're going live, so tell us what's going on.
Well, it is a huge game nonetheless. Both teams battling for top 3, top 2 positions. Still 2 of the most talented teams in the league. I think it's fair to say Collingwood have won 4 of their last 5, and Athian Manuel has been on an absolute tear as of late.
Going at 19.2 points a game, 8.8 rebounds. He has had some quieter patches at times, though.
Yeah, I think he's probably the barometer for Collingwood, because he has had a handful of quiet games. 7 points against Frankston, I think it was last week or the week before.
Yeah.
Western Port have shut him down a couple of times throughout the season, so if you're Melton, go and do the scouting when he played Western Port the last couple of times.
What about my guy? Because we're like this.
You're talking about the Thoroughbreds?
Bold Black. Bold Black.
Yes, I've been following him on social media.
You have?
You have?
With your Bookface and Graham?
Morse code.
I might have just made that up, but how is Ball going?
Well, I know he's got MBA in his username on Instagram,
Oh,
so he's got big dreams, big aspirations, let me tell you.
Well, he's playing pretty big at the moment.
He is playing pretty well, 22.8 points per game on 53% from the field, mind you.
What about, is the tennis player playing this game?
The tennis
Wimbledon
player
starts next week. Is
he
playing or is
very
he in England?
underrated. He's just gone through qualifying last week, just to make it back for the
Wimbledon?
weekend. Yes.
All right, okay.
He's a wild card, I believe.
Right, okay.
13 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists per game. He'll have an impact in this one for sure.
Well, what's his name, Steve? The tennis player.
Fernando Rios Rodriguez.
That's him. Right, okay, good.
Steve loves anything with a roll up.
Broden Collins, by the way, goes at 21.4 points a game. Who's going to win this game, Collingwood or Melton? Frankston played Craigieburn this round too, by
big
the way.
game as
That'll
well.
be a massive game.
I think Melton have a few more options to go to offensively. We just named a few, but I think they're more consistent offensively. Collingwood a little more up and down. I'll take Melton.
Does Athian go to Ball? Do they?
I think so, but I like the back to carry them.
Yes, I think if Bowlback doesn't get them, the tennis player's in great. He can smack a backhander. He's in very good form at the moment, so I think Melton might get that game. Youth League 1 women. There's the games coming up this weekend. Really important weekend for the McKinnon Cougars. We looked, of course, earlier this week at the run home. Geelong in third, 10 and 5 take on McKinnon fifth, 7 and 7. It is a top 4.
Yeah, that's right. And I think, as you mentioned, the focus goes on McKinnon here, sitting in fifth, top 4 the finals. Chelsea Branston, we mentioned last night on the run home in Youth League 1 women, whether she'll be the factor.
Player.
If she plays...
Steve-O, just play her.
She's played 8 games thus far.
Steve-O,
13 points per game.
Play her every game from here.
5.5 rebounds and 3 assists.
Don't even second guess it, Steve-O. Play every game from here. If she doesn't run out in this game, McKinnon haven't got finals in their sights.
That'll be a red hot go if she suits up.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, I think it'll be close if she plays. Bigger game for McKinnon than Geelong. As you said, Geelong have... the top 3 is basically sewn up in this position. I think they're just going to jostle for positioning there, but it looks like Keel or Summary are going to finish 1-2. Geelong are basically...
Did he watch the show the other night? Or?
No, I didn't know he missed.
Oh, right, okay. You obviously missed
But
that.
some people might have missed it. I'm just filling in quickly.
Okay.
But it's a big battle for 4th place and do or die for McKinnon.
And don't forget the booth was very good last week for McKinnon. Nearly a 30-30.
Big stats.
Okay, Youth League 1 men. Now this is tight as well at the moment. There's the games coming up, round 14. We spoke about this division the other night, and it is super, super tight. We're going to have a look at it, and you did tout this as a big game coming up. Ballarat in 8th, 7 and 12 take on Warrandyte in 6th, 9 and 9.
Yeah, it's a last chance for Ballarat to stay alive. They've got to win from here on out. Looking at their 2 rising stars in Zach Dunmore and Amos Brooks have been playing very well as of late. Need to lead them to a victory here.
And Ballarat were very good last weekend too.
There were 2 straight wins. I think for Warrandyte, locking down that last playoff spot earlier rather than later is going to be really important for them. We've spoken about their big 3 for a long time. Molnar, the accountant, JRB.
Yes.
Zach Stevenson.
I saw Zacko, the dancer.
5 or 6 games ago, just sort of working his way in some form. Last week was his best game since he returned. I think he'll be the 4th cog that Warrandyte acquired.
He's been over in the States, Zach Stevenson. I'm reliably led to believe, because Zach is, we've known for years, a fantastic dancer. He's added tap to his repertoire.
Yeah, I heard...
He's added tap. He can tap dance now as well.
I heard he was on Broadway.
Very, very good, Zach Stevenson. Look out for him. One day on Broadway. He'll be on Broadway one day. He can seriously move, that kid. I think Warrandyte wins. I like the accountant. He's a very good player.
I tend to agree with you. I'd stick with the Venom here.
What, Craig?
I reckon Ballarat get this one at home.
Good on you. Way to spoil the party. Moulton VYC women. Well, we had a look at this competition and we're very, very happy with the way Ringwood's going at the moment, and they do feature in our game of the round. Ringwood in 1st in the Watson 14 and 3 take on Knox, 5th in the Terrell 12 and 6. Now, we spoke about Knox and we spoke about what they do from here. Leah Santamaggio, for instance. What do you think is going to happen?
Well, that's right. Most of this game was, or even the team was touched on last night, so we'll run through this very quickly. This game's not more about Ringwood, it's about Knox.
Oh, okay.
Fifth in Terrell, they've been flying lately, as we mentioned last night, now making a big run into that top 4 that had looked locked for a long time. Bravington and Santa Maggio can get them going into the top 4.
I'm just having my 5:30pm coffee. Who do you think will win this, Craig?
I think Ringwood will win this, but it's going to be a tight finish in the Terrell Conference now. As you said, Knox have rattled off 5 straight. The big thing for Knox, though, coming home so strong, is 2nd, 3rd and 4th were so close that now they've caught one of them. 2nd spot's up for grabs if they win this.
If Santa Maggio plays, I'm going Knox.
It would be a harsh last fortnight if Ringwood lose 2 in a row.
Bravington and the Board Banger. That's a great matchup. Bendigo plays Sandringham this weekend as well. That's a pretty big game as well.
Matchup.
Malton VYC men, there's all the games coming up this weekend. And as he usually does, Steve-O's too gutless just to pick out one game. He loves these doubles and he's looking at Nunawading.
Well, we had Nunawading against Bulleen last week, as we touched on Bulleen's weekend. Super important, the Terrell Conference. We spoke about that last night as well.
Yes.
3rd, 4th and 1st in these fixtures. Obviously, Nunawading take on McKinnon and Dandenong. Spoke about Dandenong a little bit last night as well. McKinnon, 2 straight losses, hasn't helped the cause, and they'll be looking at Luke Painenborg to get them back in the winner's circle.
Who else will McKinnon be looking at, just according to these notes?
Jordan Gear.
Oh, Gear, is it? Jordan Gear.
Yes.
All right. I thought they had a new player. I've never heard of Jordan Beer before.
May have been a little bit of an autocorrect issue there.
Okay, fair enough.
Good to see you've picked that one up.
No, nice. What have you got for me, Craig?
This is a huge game, obviously. All the games massive coming into finals. Dandenong have been a little inconsistent as of late. Win-loss, win-loss, win. They're not looking as untouchable as they were early in the season. I think if Nunawading can maybe get up big early over McKinnon, rest a few of the stars, it's going to be a red-hot go against Dandenong. And if they get that win as well, top 2 spots open for them.
Do you think McKinnon can beat Nunawading? Do you think Jordan Beer, with his Malton hops, do you think Jordan Beer, good hops, could get the team up?
No, I think Nunawading will beat McKinnon fairly comfortably.
Comfortably. Give us a margin.
12.
12. And Dandenong?
Dandenong, I think Nunawading win by 1.
Spectres 2? Split?
I think they can split the weekend.
Who do they lose
minimum, I'm not sure. More so Dandenong I'm leaning to in terms of their loss.
So McKinnon, no chance, is that what you're saying?
But the thing the Spectres have in their favour is depth.
Right, okay. All right, fair enough. It's going to be a very good game, no doubt. Division 2 women, there's the games coming up across round 14. A really important one. Melton in 7th are 6 and 7. They take on Blackburn in 6th, 6 and 6, and it's a top 6 finals setup.
Yeah, Melton probably need this win, knowing it's at home. They have the advantages here. Blackburn really, really bad on the road so far this season. 1 and 4. Their last 5 super inconsistent.
Do you think that they can get this, or
Blackburn?
Yeah.
Every chance. It's very much a 50-50 game. But currently, the weight just swings in Melton's favour.
Tori Sumskus was very good last week for Blackburn. She needs to be big again. Melton always competitive on their home deck.
Yeah, I thought Melton were pretty competitive against Wallen. They've been in decent form as of late, and I think they get the win on their home deck against, as Steve said, Blackburn have struggled on the road.
If Jenna Conroy can just go above 40%, just pick that shooting percentage up above 40, I think they'll be very hard to beat. Division 2 men. There's the games up on screen, and we're heading out to Seatown. Of course we're heading out to Seatown.
About 4 weeks in a row. Steve's trying to get them on side now.
7 weeks in a row we've headed out to Seatown. Camberwell are 5th, 9 and 5, take on Melton 4th, 10 and 7. To his credit, just to defend him, it is a good game.
Yeah, but I think that people at Seatown are a little too smart to see through the facade Steve's putting on. They know that he actually does not enjoy Seatown. He doesn't head down to Seatown. He's not a big fan of Seatown.
First time the word facade's ever been used on this show in 9 years.
I'm just trying to lift the IQ level on the desk.
I like it.
Camberwell have streaking in the wrong way. They've lost 3 straight. They need to get going, and Melton have won 4 straight. So big contrast here. Huge game for both teams. Can Camberwell turn their form around?
Ozakowski's in a bit of form at the moment. Just keep an eye on him. Ozzy.
Yeah, shooting in a good clip. So just need to get in the ball a little bit more. I think he's averaging about 8 and 8. At 51%. But we've
Oh,
spoken.
no doubt you've been on the phone to your mate this week out at
Jeffers?
out at Melton.
Out at Melton.
You've been on the phone to your mate, no doubt about it. How is Dexter?
Dex?
Yeah, how
he's
is he?
Going well.
Has he
Certainly
finally accepted your friend request, or
Not quite, so
Right,
we're still
okay.
reaching out.
Right,
but
okay.
He's
we've
tried to
spoken-
LinkedIn. He's
Yeah,
tried
everything.
Spoken a lot about Dexter Graham and Manny Malou combination over the last number of weeks, but last week it was Walwal and Gong who had a big impact. 16 points and 20 points. Also went with 13 rebounds on the Sunday. Melton got 2 wins last week. This is important moving forward, continuing to build.
Did go a bit too far when he's trying to find him on Tinder, but anyway, that's another subject. Let's go to Division. Oh, sorry, who's going to win that game? Camberwell or Melton?
I think Melton.
Ooh.
I think Camberwell bounced back.
I think Melton might get it. Just think Melton might.
It'll be a
get it.
close one, I reckon.
Well, yeah, I like the way they're going at the moment. They're in a bit of form. Division 1 women. There's all the games coming up. Round of 14. We are heading out to Hawthorn. Hawthorn in 7th, 8 and 9 take on Werribee 4th, 10 and 6. It is a top 6, so Hawthorn need to get their skates on.
Yeah, must-win game for Hawthorn. Geelong have got 8 wins as well. Whittlesea on 9 wins. They need to make sure they stay in touch with both those two teams. 3 straight wins for Hawthorn, and 2 games before that were pretty strong losses, if you can have strong losses. A 7-point loss to Mildura and a 2-point loss to Warrnambool.
Can you tell me who Latrobe plays this week in Division 1 women? Can you just look that up? Are they in action?
Latrobe play the Camberwell Dragons at 2
when's that?
p.m. on Sunday.
I might go down to that game. I feel like a bit of a drive out to the absolutely wonderful world of the Latrobe Valley. It's a great place. If you've never visited Latrobe Valley, lots to see and do. I might go just for a Sunday drive, put my Terry Toweling hat on, and step into the old Volvo and maybe just head down to Gippsland on Sunday and go and see that game.
How many times do you think Justin said that and actually gone to a game?
No, when he brings it up himself,
I think I'll be
he
going.
definitely goes because there's probably secondary and third reasons for why he goes down. But
What are you trying to
certainly,
say? Free party pies or something?
I'm not sure, but I'm sure they'll welcome you with open arms.
Can I just say I am going to that game on
Okay.
Sunday, so I want to go down there and have a look at that one. Looking forward to that. Hawthorn or Werribee?
I've liked Hawthorn over the last number of games, as Craig touched on, but Werribee just super consistent at the
Alyssa
moment.
Bennett gets going.
In some form, 6 straight wins, mind you. They've beaten some very handy opposition as well. Happy to side with the Devils.
Yeah, I'm with Werribee as well. I think they're even better than their record says. 10 and 6 at the moment, but they've been flying.
I think the Devs get it. Division 1 men, there's the games coming up this weekend. We are looking at Keesey 3rd, 13 and 3, Warrnambool in 6th, 9 and 8. And I've got to tell you, I'm a big fan of the Cougars.
8-0
Yep.
at home, and has just somewhat flown under the radar for the first 14 rounds. Just continues to get it done.
Well, they play their home games in their local stadium, the Keysborough's local stadium.
Yes, Craig's mentioned that a couple of times.
At Rowville.
Yes, throughout the season. They're very good offensively. They've put up a stack of points throughout the season. Ben Morwood, 11 points per game, goes at 50%, so he could probably get a few more touches in the right areas. For Warrnambool, 3 straight losses.
Yes, I like what you've pointed out here.
You don't
Pressure's
see
on.
this much over recent times.
Yep.
Javier Blunt continues to produce nearly 30 points per game, but at times he's just doing it alone.
They're under pressure, Steve, and I reckon Craig's going to point to the ladder right now because the middle area of the ladder, the battle pack, if Warrnambool can't turn things around quickly, they're going to get chewed up.
There's one game separating Bulleen in 8th and Melbourne in 5th.
Yep. It's a
A
battle
loss,
pack.
a loss or win either way is a huge impact. As Steve said, shocked to see Warrnambool sliding at this point of the season. This is when you normally see them ramp up and start winning a few games on the trot. They need a win. And normally you'd say on the road they might find it a little tougher. Their record on the road is better than their record at home
Yes,
this year, which
they have
is
slipped up at
which
home
is
this season.
remarkable for Warrnambool.
And just before we move on from Division 1 men, just want to touch on something else out at Whittlesea.
Yes.
One of their much loved
Yes.
members, Ray Barbara,
Yes.
is unfortunately currently battling
Ill at the moment, yes.
class 4 tumour, which
Yes.
currently affects his memory, speech, and the emotional part of his
Yes.
brain. One of their players out there, Kobe Bodley, shaved his head last week or 2 weeks ago for a really great cause. Head on to www.bigv.com.au. There's a GoFundMe link there. Make sure you support everyone else who supports the Big B community.
He's a great man, Ray Barbara. I've loved a lot of games out there at Whittlesea. Gets on the mic and gets that crowd going. He's right in the thick of the action. And Ray, we're all with you, mate. You're an absolute star of a bloke, and we're right there beside you. And we wish you well, and the whole community out there. Get behind every one of these causes and support. He's a ripper of a guy, Ray Barbara. Ripper.
Absolutely.
100%.
State championship. Oh, sorry, Keysey or Warrnambool?
Keysborough.
Keysy.
Nothing more certain this weekend.
Well, they've done nothing wrong.
Nothing more certain this weekend. Keysey could turn up at half time and win this game. They win it comfortably. No doubt about it. Nothing more certain. State champ women. There's the games coming up in round 14. And I'll tell you what, some pressure's on here, especially on Hume City. And I like the fact that you've picked this game out because there's bigger games this weekend, Steve-O. But the pressure's on Hume City. They travel to McKinnon. McKinnon are 8th, 4 and 10. Cannot make the finals. Will not make the finals. Hume are in 6th, 6 and 6. It's top 5, and this has danger game written all over it.
Yeah, it does, but Hume City just have to get the job done. This
win.
is the type of game you have to win. They don't win this, they probably harsh, but probably don't deserve.
And I think
to
they
make
play
finals.
Keilor on Sunday as well, so they've got to win both this weekend.
And they're both winnable. But McKinnon have won 2 of their last 3. Funnily enough, they're not great at home.
They won at the Rings last week.
Big game there. So I guess for Hume City, they're probably hoping that McKinnon would fold down and maybe not try as hard as they should now they're out of the run. But it's looking at the complete opposite of that. They're playing with pride at the moment.
This has danger game written all over it.
Yeah, McKinnon turn up when they're on, and they're very hard to catch once they get out to that 10 to 12 to 14 point lead. And that's exactly what Hume City don't want to see.
Is this an upset here, Steve? Is it an upset?
Brewing, but I think Hume City will come prepared and they'll be switched on from the get-go.
Tomorrow night, the battle between Ariel Thomas and Nicole Zammit is an absolute beauty. Get down to this game at GSAC tomorrow night. I think Hume City start favourites.
I think Hume City should win.
Okay, just spit that out 3 times in a row. Can I say to my friends out of Hume City, you take this game lightly, you come with any level of complacency whatsoever, you're going to go home in tears.
I will say one thing, if they give Southern Penn another game on them, they won't catch them.
No, I agree.
They won't catch them.
State Championship men, games coming up in round 14. I don't know why Steve-O's done this. And I tell you what, you are definitely going to fire a few people up with this, Steve-O.
Put the torch on them.
Well, there's some good games coming up this weekend, and he has gone down to the lower rungs, and he is officially calling this a relegation battle. Corio Bay in 12th, 2 and 13, had a win last week, coming in with confidence. Blackburn 11th, 3 and 13. He has officially titled this the relegation battle, the relegation game of the season. I'll let you explain because I'm going nowhere near it.
Well, the fact that Corio Bay won last week puts more emphasis on this game. They're now only 1 win apart.
Yep.
In all seriousness though, staying at the top flight in Big V is one of the more prestigious things you can do in this entire competition.
You do not want to be relegated. When you're in state champ level, you do not want to be going backwards.
It's a big deal.
Yes.
If you stay at the top flight, you can continue to produce your association from the bottom up. You have something to aspire to. You're at the top flight of Victorian competition.
You keep all your players as well.
Exactly.
Players could leave if you drop
this is a serious deal.
Can you just check earlier on in the season when they played each other? Do you know how to do that? Do you know how to navigate your way around the...
No, I do.
Right, okay.
This is
check that.
This is absolutely no joke. So Corio Bay winning last weekend, they take that confidence in defeating Werribee, of course. Blackburn
got Waverley a couple of weeks ago by 20.
Exactly. So that's an important victory in terms of coming into the end of the season. This is a big game.
Okay, all right. He's put it out there earlier on this season.
Blackburn 82, 76 Corio.
So there it is. There it is. There. We're looking at it on the screen. It's 6 points. Different. Steve-O, you're on the money here. This is a big game because if Corio on their home deck win by 7 or more, they got head to head.
Yep.
Who's going to win? When I saw the note relegation battle, I thought, oh, come on, Steve. But, mate, you are on the money.
Right now, I couldn't tell you because this is probably a flip of the coin game. If Blackburn were at home, I'd certainly be siding with them. Corio Bay got their tails up last week.
On their home deck,
now on their home deck.
Play.
This is a 50-50.
And Chris Lynch is coming to this team. And Chris Lynch had 31 and 11 last week. So they're in a little bit of form at the moment.
Yeah, I think they're rolling, get the home crowd down, and can feed off some of that momentum. I think it's very important that Blackburn get the jump early. If they go down 5, 6, 7 in the first quarter, the crowd starts rolling behind and the momentum picks up. I think it's going to be very hard to come back from
down
that.
at the Chook Shed. If Hutchie drops a couple from the car park, look out. I agree, 50-50 game. I'm with you. If in doubt, go the home team. I've always said that, but gee, pressure's on. Relegation battle. Listen to you. There you go. Round 14. Get out there and support your teams tomorrow night and on Sunday. All the community out at Whittlesea, get out there in support of Ray Barber. He's a fantastic bloke, and we wish him well. I'm heading down to Gippsland Sunday. I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, just going to take that cruise down into... Have you ever been to Latrobe? Ever, Steve?
Many times.
Have you ever ventured any further past Camberwell?
Many times.
Ever? I don't know if I believe that. As for you, you never leave your driveway. Hey, have a great weekend. Good luck to all the teams out there. Round 14. We'll be back on Monday night to wrap it all up. Big VTV. See you then.